my friends, to a podcast that's been described as
emotional
and
terrifying.
One guy even said it was
So awesome it will shock you to the core.
finally another podcast about Godzilla and all his giant monster friends.
This could be the end of civilization.
Yeah, probably. So join your hosts, KES and Slick.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're listening to the podcast from Odo Island. Welcome to the podcast from Odo Island. Follow us on the internet at Odo Island Pod. I am KES. With me, as always, is the Doctor of Style, Slick.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's quick.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah.
Good ref.
It's a
Good ref.
speed run. Anyway, we got a fun episode this week. We watched the brand spanking new Skull Island animated series on the old Netflix.
On the old Netflix, little upstart company.
Yeah. I don't think they got what it takes.
Maybe not anymore. I don't know.
So we'll get to that main topic shortly, though. Before we get into that, though, any news you want to lay on me? I've been sort of out of it the past couple weeks.
Well, I have happy news. I have sad news. Which one do you want first?
In the spirit of all the Parasitic Extirpation albums I've done, I always like to end on a sad note. So give me that happy news.
Okay. Good plug for one of your old bands right there too.
Yeah.
So wait, sorry. You said the happy news first, right?
Yeah.
So starting, well, actually, it'll be as of 2 days ago when this podcast drops on July 1st. Pluto TV is. Did you see this?
Yes.
Okay. So Pluto TV will be launching a 24/7 Godzilla channel. That's pretty cool. It's
Yep.
going to have every Toho movie up to Final Wars, not counting King Kong versus Godzilla due to obvious rights issues with Kong. So, but in addition to that, it's also going to have the 1998 Godzilla the series. The animated show is going to be playing on this 24/7 Pluto channel. So this is actually kind of like a big deal in the sense that a lot of those like 80s and 90s Godzilla movies are like pretty hard to come by now. Like a lot of them aren't on streaming platforms. Actually, like I don't think really any of them are on streaming platforms at the moment. So
Yeah, so like you get like the Criterion collection for a lot of the Showa movies that was on HBO. I don't know if it's on there anymore, but
no, I think so.
okay. So I've had access to the Showa movies for a while now, and that's great. I kind of gravitate a lot towards Gigan for some reason. I think I've watched that more than like any of the other ones.
That movie is low key top notch.
I know. But like, yeah, the last time I watched Biollante or Space Godzilla or Destroyer was for this podcast.
Yeah, and we probably watched them, or you probably watched them via archive, right? Or did you borrow my Blu-rays?
I think one of them I had to borrow your Blu-ray because it wasn't on archive.
Yeah, so like Godzilla vs. Biollante is like never on anything.
Yeah.
A lot of those like 80s, 90s movies just aren't like, they're just not readily available. That's why you randomly see like those like 2-pack Blu-rays, like go for like the ones that are like Godzilla vs. Mothra and Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, like those routinely go for like over $100. Like, which is
because I got the 3-disc DVD of that. I got like those two on one disc and then GMK on another disc on a DVD, and it was like $10.
Hold on to them because I mean those things are like they go crazy now.
I know.
I mean, I got the Godzilla vs. Biollante Blu-ray that I bought at Best Buy for like $10, and that routinely sells for like $200.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. And I even like remember before that, like I had a VHS tape of Godzilla vs. Biollante that I bought at like a Suncoast Video like in the 90s, and like that started going for crazy money because it's just been always so hard to see Godzilla vs. Biollante.
Yeah.
So now it's gonna be it's all gonna be readily awesome. Available in Pluto. I like stuff like Pluto and Tubi and stuff like that has like live channels. Like sometimes I just like throw that shit on like in the background, just have it playing while I'm doing stuff. So it'd be nice to have like a 24/7 Godzilla channel. They used to have like an Ultraman channel, and that's how like I would, especially at the beginning of COVID, like when I started working remotely, it was like I would just put it on. I would watch like I would end up like kind of seeing like 5-6 hours of like Ultraman Leo like in a day, and I was like, okay, this is pretty sick.
Mhm.
So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm coming in. I'm in. I have Pluto.
Yeah, it's free. It's free, pal. Free 99.
I like free. What's the sad news? Give me the sad stuff.
So this is a little leave the memories alone type news. Playmates has discontinued the Toho Classics line. So Baragon was the last figure in the Playmates Toho Classics line. They are only now continuing with Godzilla vs. Kong and presumably Godzilla and Kong in terms of making figures. There's not going to be anything else outside of GVK and G and K. So no more, no more Ultima figures, no more Baragon, no more Rodan type figures. I think that sucks.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
Is what it is. Bandai store I'm assuming will still be cranking stuff out. So
For sure. Yeah.
I think you like Playmates a little bit more than I do when it comes to this stuff. I kind of fell off that bandwagon. I was kind of like, if I see it in stores, I'll pick it up, but I'm not going to be spending $20-$30 to import it.
Oh yeah, which I had to do with King Ghidorah, which is still part of the line that's not getting discontinued, just isn't here in America.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. I don't really have too big of an attachment to the Playmates figures. They're kind of like lowbrow. Like, I liked how they were inexpensive and like good to give to like kids for their birthdays. Like, we know someone who may have been a past guest of this podcast.
Oh yeah, their kid got Gorosaurus.
Yeah, and Bird and Godzilla.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was my work. And they asked for more this year, so it's like, yeah, definitely. But I mean, they're still readily available in stores. Like, I can still get the Mecha Godzilla. Like, there's like 20 of them at Target. So
yeah. The no shortage of the GVK line is out and about out there. I thought the Baragon figure was an excellent figure. Like, I thought the Final Wars Guy game figure was really good. Once they hit a stride with that line, I thought it got really good. Like, what sucks is like they were kind of making figures of kaiju that don't normally get figures. Like that Rodan 56 one.
Yeah.
Like, it had been forever since there was like a Rodan 56, and then it was a little bit funny. Like, they announced Baragon, or Baragon got released, and then Bandai kind of came right on the heels too. But like, you could get but the Baragon figure from Playmates, I think it's just as good, not a little bit better. And it's like, it was like a $9 figure. You didn't have to import, So, and the Terrestris figure from Singular Point, like,
I like that one.
That one's like a really good one.
Terrestris and Gigan are probably the best two that they'd put out.
Yeah, do you have the Baragon one?
No.
I think the Baragon one might be top tier as well, I think.
But the last one I got was the Ultima.
Yeah, which was okay.
Yeah, it was not okay. It was terrible.
For $9, it was fine.
It's so bad. I had to take a picture of it and be like,
"Oh, that's right." Yours had like weird smudges and paint flubs on it.
But you said yours did too.
I'm trying to remember what it was that was like off with yours.
It was the paint on the head.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
like,
right.
Is this normal? Like, is this like an error? And you were like, no, that's normal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, for $9, I didn't care too much.
Yeah.
But I thought their non-Godzilla figures were actually really good. It seemed like they tried a lot harder for the non-Godzilla figures.
Maybe they're just out of companies to steal molds from.
Maybe.
Ooh,
I mean,
shots fired. No, I'm just kidding.
Certainly.
I honestly don't think they did that. I just like to stir the pot.
I think that Shin Godzilla V1, I think, is suspiciously similar to and I don't know what went wrong with the head, but it's just something like the way the legs and the body are in that figure, just a little too close in my opinion.
Okay.
But
maybe they stole the body, not the head. Maybe it's like one of those X-Files.
They just said, we just changed the head a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, if we fuck up the head, nobody knows.
No one's going to notice.
Playmates, leave the memories alone. You tried. I guess.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the GBK, the Godzilla and Kong stuff is still gonna continue. So
Yep. And those figures are much better in my opinion.
yeah, I mean, it's just my only complaint with that line is that it's like, boy, they have. Or I guess it's not even a complaint, just more of an observation. That's like they have found a way to get me to buy like the same mold repainted many different ways for Godzilla and Kong in that line.
Not me, and that's how I kind of fell off. It's like, okay, I don't need the snow one.
I actually love that one because he's like covered in coke.
Yeah, I don't need the snow one. I don't need the regular one. Like, I just wanted the Hong Kong lights one. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I like the color scheme in the playset ones too, where they kind of get like a little bit of like orange in them because it looks like it's burning a little bit.
See plenty of those at the stores too.
Yeah, playsets are abound. I like playsets; they just take up a lot of shelf real estate.
I got that one, and it's fine.
Yeah. You don't have many playsets, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the only playset you have.
Just for Godzilla, yeah.
Yeah, you do have a wrestling ring that takes up a dining room table, basically. But
it is pretty sweet though.
So that was my news. I'm a little sad about the departure of that classic line. It was nice to have a Bandai Movie Monster Series alternative.
Yeah, well, I'm not as sad as you are.
I'll just drink my sorrows away.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the reason why we're all gathered here today.
The reason for the season.
Yeah. Skull Island got an animated series on Netflix. The first season dropped in the past week. Yeah,
it was. I don't have too much in the way of background or table setting because it's a fairly new release. So I'm sure more information will come out as time goes. But this was done by Powerhouse Animation Studios. They did the animation. They had also done the Powerhouse. They had also done the Castlevania anime on Netflix.
So that's why I thought it looked good.
Yeah. And apparently they had. They've done a number of things, but they apparently have also worked on a ton of video games, including Mortal Kombat 11.
Okay.
So, I looked them up because I may have thoughts on the animation later. Okay. So I said, I want to know who did this. But then one of the writers was recently kind of doing like an Ask Me Anything on Twitter a couple weeks ago, and I didn't really. I thought the big noteworthy thing of that is that they were not allowed to use Godzilla at all. So that maybe kind of sort of Godzilla cameo in the show is only maybe a little bit of wink and a nod to Godzilla. They can't officially call it Godzilla. So, but yeah, so it sounds like there was like a lot of like restrictions placed on them as to what other MonsterVerse characters or properties they could use. Godzilla being chief among them.
Yeah.
So, but that's it. Season 2 is already written, and it's going to kind of depend on how the series goes. It sounds like at the time of this recording, it sounds like it was ranked pretty high in terms of like show, like in terms of streams or whatever. Netflix obviously doesn't release their streaming numbers, but from what I read, it seemed like it was for many days in a row. It was not like the top by any means, but like
they've had some big stuff drop.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
had like a bodybuilding documentary to drop. That I'm expecting to do better than.
I got like 20 alerts about another American Gladiators documentary dropping on Netflix this week, and I was like, have we had 5 in the past year about American Gladiators? But it sounds like it performed well, at least like in its first week on Netflix. So yeah. That's the information we have available to us right now.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's my background.
All right.
What did we think?
It was funny watching this. First 4 episodes I got in, I was like, I don't like this. Mm-hmm. I do not like this at all. Every character is the same. They're all just annoying and sarcastic and like not people I want to be stuck in an island with. And then I watched like the back end, the back 9. That was the front 9, and I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, that was not where I expect. You had me in the first half, not going to lie.
Yeah. The second half, I was just like, oh, this is what I wanted. Because, like, I'll be honest, the first episode, they did the thing where the main character of the series is just not there. He was on screen for maybe 10 seconds.
Well, as soon as, like, I guess I always thought it was supposed to be Kong Skull Island, but then I was like, wait, the movie's named that? Then when I said, oh no, it's just called Skull Island,
yeah.
I was like, I think I was like prepared going into it. I was like, he's not going to be in this a lot. And Kong is certainly not around a lot in the first half.
But then the second half, it's normal.
He's more around, yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, I hate it when they do that thing. Like, it's one of my biggest pet peeves of like, okay, I get you want to build up the characters and stuff. Episode 1, just dedicate it to them. Okay, we know who these people are. Like, that's all you have to do. When you make it like half the season is just like you don't have any of the reason why everyone's come to watch. Like, it just annoys the piss out of me. I don't know what to tell you. I hate it.
It did bother me that Kong wasn't around at all in the first half. Like, for the most part, he's not around in the first half of the show. And it wouldn't have bothered me if they just kind of said ahead of time, going like, look, Kong is a character in the show, but he's not like, this is not the Kong show. You know, like, this is a show about Skull Island. If they approached it like that, like, I think it's a little bit different. I feel like the marketing made you feel like he's around constantly.
I would say if they approached it like that, people would just be less interested.
Well, yeah, so that's kind of... I feel like I feel like the marketing around this was disingenuous.
Make the most interesting thing about what you're doing the main focus. The most interesting thing is Kong. It's not the island. It's Kong. So make that your focus. Don't, like, hamper the viewer. And, like, I don't want to say rob them of a good time, but don't make the viewer have to wait so long in these things, is what I'm trying to say. If they front loaded it with a little bit more of Kong, and then like episode 2, it's like a Kong episode, and then like the next 2 episodes, maybe you don't have them, it would have been less of a blow, in my opinion. But like, this really was like, for me watching, like, first 4 episodes I'll probably never revisit, and then like if I ever want to watch this again, I will just watch the last 4 episodes and just be like, okay, this is very fun. This is what a Kong animated series should be.
Yeah. I hear that. I mean, I fully expect, even though they're kind of saying Godzilla is going to be a big part of the Apple Plus TV show, like, I fully expect Godzilla to be at the beginning of the series, at the end of the series, and then it's going to be Monster of the Week stuff in the middle, and that's totally fine with me. But again, you should be upfront about that. And again, I think that's totally fine. I'm totally fine with like Monsterverse world building and expanding the Monsterverse. But the last thing, I'm just going to kind of repeat my same point, and then I'll kind of move off this. But it's like I felt the marketing around this made it seem like Kong is going to be a constant through the show. And
on the posters, like, he was like the biggest thing there. He was the main focus on the poster. And when you do that, that's sort of like telling the audience, like, watch this and you'll just see this giant ape fuck it up. Right.
And he's not, once I kind of figured it was like, he's probably not going to be around, didn't bother me as much. I guess maybe I'll kind of do like, kind of how you just broke it up, maybe we can do like the first 4 episodes or first half of the season, then we can kind of talk about the last half of the season.
Sure.
I felt, so it takes place in the 90s, and I kind of felt like this was going for like a 90s cartoon vibe. You got these 2 high school kids that the show focuses around, along with this girl Annie, who is kind of gets introduced into the show pretty early. Well, she's the first character you meet, and like she's got all these like weird personality quirks, and her backstory kind of gets explored over like the next like handful of episodes. They're like on this boat with like Charlie, the main kid, his shitty father, who's like the first father character I can remember in a TV show, who's like pissed at his kid for like wanting to go to college. I thought that was a little humorous, but remember at the beginning, he's like, I'm going to college today. He goes, what are you doing to college for? Everything you need right here is on this shitty boat out in the middle of the shitty ocean.
I agree with you. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's the first like parent, especially from the time period. I mean, like, geez, my parents were like, you have to go to Notre Dame. I'm like,
we want you to play independent college football. And then you got Michael, who's like his best friend, and his father gets squished in the first episode.
So this is a thing that I want to explore a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, like, to me, that's like sort of like a personality defining moment, like to have your dad push you out of the way to be squished by an octopus tentacle and turned it to paste in front of you. I feel like that would change. Like if he was like a happy-go-lucky, sarcastic little prick before that, that all stops right there. Like holy shit, like that just like destroyed me as a person. But like there's no personality change. Like he barely even reacts to it after that. Like he's still being a sarcastic little prick.
Yeah.
Like after that for the next couple episodes. And I'm like, dude, your dad died.
Yeah.
Like, are you a fucking sociopath or something? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why can't you like have like a human reaction to this? And then I just realized, oh yeah, because every character here is the same exact character, and no one can deviate from that.
Yeah, they're all very. Well, yeah, he like mourns for like part of like the second
he picks
episode.
up his dad's glasses, and then that's it.
Yeah, and then it's like it feels like it seems like he got over that kind of quick. Then he's then his big character arc is he gets sick.
Which he already had his dad die. Like, why does it need more? Like,
Yeah, but you kind of brought up a good point. Like everybody. Now, I think you and I may have. I don't want to make it sound like that. Like I really liked them being Charlie and Michael. I think that was his name. Like, yeah, they were like I liked Charlie. I didn't really give a shit about Michael.
It got less grating once there was monsters on the show, so you encountered these people less.
Yeah,
when it was no Kong, and like they were just basically like running away from stuff, and that's all you got was them running away from stuff. I got real annoyed with these people real quick.
I didn't like the part of me like watching them. Like I was like, all right, they feel like '90s cartoon characters because like everything, but it was just so fucking sarcastic in the '90s.
I don't remember people just being this annoying in the '90s.
But it was like they were. It was almost like to the like every character though has like the '90s sarcasm to them. Like every character does, just to like different degrees. Like the Annie's mother, where we come to learn mother, like she's always sarcastic. Like Annie is sarcastic, but I gave Annie a pass because I actually thought she was interesting, and I was like, okay, she's also like totally not socialized at all, so her being so weird makes sense to me. Like, but the other ones I was like, okay, like you're all just like angsty 90s kids. But I thought Charlie was the least annoying of those characters who wasn't besides Annie. I legitimately liked Annie. I thought Charlie was kind of the next.
There was one character that I personally liked. Dog. Because he did not like the other characters. And I was like, you know what, Dog? I'm you in this episode. Plus, I really liked the way Dog was like designed.
Oh yeah, it's like kind of like a bulldog.
Kind of like a bulldog, but enormous. Like, I really liked it.
If our under-8 soccer team where we first met was a kaiju, it would be Dog.
Bulldogs, yeah. So yeah, Dog for me was well written. He was very protective of Annie and did not care about anyone else. So I was like, yeah, they actually wrote the Dog pretty well.
I think what's going to be like kind of a recurring thing for me is that like, to me, I'm going to probably just keep saying like this kind of felt like a 90s like Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah,
and,
it definitely did.
And I think I shouldn't say like I gave a pass to stuff, but like I certainly was not very critical or like I was just kind of like I was like, am I just gonna be like entertained watching this? And there was like enough monster shit from like episode to episode, like they're just getting chased by like an alligator in one episode that does like a belly flop off a waterfall at one point that was kind of fucking funny, and then Kong just like plucks it out of the water and eats it, and then there was like these flowers eating people and shit, and then like you get this random like phoenix thing that
I thought it was like a cardinal
or cardinal, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Kong has his own version of Rodin.
I actually really like that. I wasn't expecting that at all. Yeah. I was like, Kong has a pet bird. That's awesome. He's like a falconer.
Yeah. It was like, I think kind of focus on the first 4 episodes where it's just a lot of like they get shipwrecked and then they're all kind of trying to find each other, and Charlie's dad, Captain, is with what turns out to be Annie's mother, and then like they're all kind of basically trying to converge to find each other. Like, I was entertained enough by it. I do fucking hate Captain, whatever. Cap was just calling himself Cap. I do fucking hate him. I was like, you're a shitty dad. You like are just so fucking clueless. Like, you don't want your kid's trying to make something of himself. I mean, it's totally fine if you want to stay in the boat, but I mean, like, the kid wants to go to college and you're trying to squash your kid's dreams. You know, you get on the
That
island.
does kind of make him a realistic parent, though. Like, what parent hasn't attempted to just like crush their children's dreams? You know?
No comment. But like, so it's like he gets on the island. He's like more preoccupied with like the shit that he's seeing on the island than he is like finding his kid. It seems like, but like whenever someone like. But every now and then he goes like, "Oh, did you see my kid? Did you see my kid?" But then he gets like distracted by like, you know, this like tortoise with aloe leaves on its back, you know, and he's like all like in like a world of wonder with that. I don't know. He just doesn't seem like he sucks. I don't like him. That's all I got on him.
But yeah, it kind of circles back to like how like all the characters, like I'm just not like personally like attached to any of them. So if like any of them died, I was like, yeah, whatever.
And you know, a good amount of them. Well, the NPCs, they all kind of got killed off. That was kind of fun.
But like overall, I was just kind of like, these characters are all like. I feel like they didn't make them diverse enough. They didn't make them stand out on their own enough. They're all kind of interchangeable and annoying and sarcastic and not people I want to be stuck in an island with.
Everyone being sarcastic was an interesting choice.
Like when I think about like stranded on an island stuff, I think of Castaway and I think of Gilligan's Island, and I'm like, Gilligan's Island, every character was so different from each other.
Yeah,
that like you had someone that you personally could like because every character had a different personality. This everyone's the same, and I'm just kind of like, if you don't like one, you don't like anyone.
Right. That's like a good point because like something like Gilligan's Island, right? Like you got all these different people from different backgrounds going on a paid cruise, you know.
Yeah.
This one, every character either comes from the exploring boat or comes from the for some reason I'm hiring a militant group to basically go retrieve my daughter from an island group, which is a very weird premise. I guess my last thing in the first 4 episodes for me was like I felt like they were going for a vibe like in the first Kong movie where it's like a lot of like the first half of the movie is them just encountering like weird stuff on Skull Island, and I felt like that was like what they were trying to replicate here, where it's like, okay, like we're just going to constantly run into like new crazy things, and I thought to a degree it worked. I was like entertained with some of it, and then you know a lot of it just kind of felt like everyone's kind of like walking in circles to kind of pad out maybe 4 episodes till they let me find each other. So that's kind of my last thoughts on the first half of the season.
Okay.
Yours?
I liked the monsters' designs. I liked like the variations, like the rock monster in the second episode.
Mm-hmm.
The crabs. The monster stuff I enjoyed. The people stuff I did not enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like when I was watching the first 4 episodes, I just got back from like a doctor's appointment and I came home and I was like, okay, I'm just going to watch as many as I can. And after 4 episodes, I was like, I have to stop now because like, if I watch any more of this, I'm just going to hate this. And so I'll come back to it later or I'll come back to it tomorrow or whatever. And I'm glad I did that because it really saved the series for me. Like just, I wasn't trying to be a complainer. I would rather enjoy something than not enjoy it. But I was like, I'm really not enjoying these first 4 episodes so far.
Yeah, and I was lukewarm on them.
Because I saw other people were like, oh, this is great, I love this. And I'm just kind of like, okay, not feeling it. But I appreciate your enthusiasm.
Yeah. I've seen a whole variety. I've seen a wide range of reactions to this.
But that's after the first 4 episodes when I went to the back 9, is what I'm calling it. It's golf. It's a golf series. When I got into the last 4 episodes, I was like, oh, this is like a very fun, interesting, enjoyable show that I like a lot.
Yeah, and maybe it's not evenly broken between the first 4 and last 4 episodes, but basically I feel like, there's the before all the human characters get together, and then they all get together. Like, you know, everyone's kind of been, like, Annie's kind of been being captured, you know, by her mother. You know, Michael is gotten really sick from his infection, and he kind of meets up with Captain. Dog has been taken to Kong's palace.
I was going to say, this was the moment that the series kind of switched for me.
Yeah.
When the bird captures Dog, I was like, oh, like, Dog's dead. I was like, I wasn't expecting that. That's fucking crazy. Because like what they actually said was their plan actually worked.
Right.
And like
right.
I was just like, oh shit, like that's fucking awesome.
But your favorite character might have just gotten killed.
Yeah, but it was awesome. Like my favorite character in Fellowship of the Rings gets killed too.
Okay, that's what you're saying. Yeah, I like how they just established, Kong's got a bird friend or a bird minion, I guess, that just brings him food while he sits in his room and sulks.
Yeah,
which gets revealed as to why a little bit later. But actually, yeah, I kind of feel like that's kind of actually the big. I guess I will just. I had no other way to lead up to that. I guess I'll just get into my thoughts of that. Like the 7th episode, the penultimate episode, where it's like all the flashback of Kong with the woman who ultimately gets killed. The whole village gets killed by the Kraken. It seems like that is actually the official name. It's the Kraken, but I guess. But that episode I thought was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, those the last episode and this episode were really the best. Like the ending of this was phenomenal. Like this episode was so good.
Yeah, the 7th one or the 8th one?
7th one, yeah. The flashback episode.
Yeah, that one.
Because this was like the
great.
70s, right?
Yeah, I read that it's supposed to be. It's after Skull Island, but obviously before this.
Yeah.
So when is Skull Island's during Vietnam? So yeah, so it's probably like the 70s or 80s or something. Yeah, that episode I thought was fucking great. It's like a lot of kind of reaffirming Kong's character traits, like that he is like thinking, he's emotive, he's clearly like defined ally to people, or he's like very partial towards people.
Yeah.
Just again like reestablishing that he's got a personality and he's got character to him.
Yeah.
And
he feels
and gave some stakes to the showdown with the Kraken.
Yeah. So like basically what happens is Kong is friends with this girl. He like fights a bunch of monsters. The girl's like in peril and he like saves her. And so like they establish Kong and this girl's relationship really well. I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. But like once the Kraken attacks,
I actually don't even remember if they gave her name.
Yeah,
because she didn't talk to like other people.
She did, but like I just don't remember.
Okay.
Well, she berated Kong in front of other people.
Yeah.
But this was like the most Saturday morning cartoon stuff of the whole thing too, because like Kong saves her and she's like still like mad at him. I'm like that has a real cartoon feel for me. Like that works. And so she's like mad at him for like her inconvenience, and then the village gets like destroyed by the Kraken. So very Clash of the Titans.
It was.
And that's where Kong like he kind of sees the Kraken off in the distance, so he knows what did it, but like he's just like broken that it happened. So
yeah,
he just goes and sulks for a couple decades.
Yeah, and he almost seems like a little scared to fight it too, because it's like it's out in the water.
It's out in the water. He's not as big.
Yeah, he's still growing boy.
Yeah.
He apparently was able to get that necklace off though without a problem.
Yeah.
He was like, did he pop her head off and then drop the necklace off?
Maybe he did one of those like little yoinks. And
yeah, he did a yoink to the head and the necklace came off.
And then he had Bird retie it for him. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. He probably had the bird do it. Like because the bird was a lot smaller too at that time.
But it was still big.
Yeah. He has a really entertaining fight with some kind of like chameleon basilisk like
earlier. That's what I thought with the girl. She's in peril with those things. And that was a cool fight. With like a cliff involved and like.
I like that they did keep changing colors like chameleons, like as like they walked on ground or like in the sand or whatever. I was like, that's a nice little touch.
Yeah. So this episode really worked for me too. Like I said, like after the bird took dog, like this show just like completely flipped for me, and it was like a very interesting, fun romp.
Yeah, I thought. I agree. I thought the last half of the season was very entertaining. I did think that 7th episode, though, so I'm going to stress, I thought the last half of that was very entertaining. That 7th episode, though, I was like, okay, this is just legitimately an excellent episode. Like, I think this is head and shoulders I was like, this is like, if you just released this, I'd be like, wow, that's a fucking great piece of Kong media right there.
Yeah.
You know, that could stand alone on its own. I kind of felt like.
I think the last episode though too is like almost like a sequel to this, because like decades later, like they go to Kong and they get the necklace, and like they somehow know this is like what, because the kid sees it.
He's like, he's just, yeah, he's like, yeah, he's always just sad, just like flicking this necklace on the wall.
Yeah. So they go, like, this is like when he like teaches Dog how to climb down the pedestal, and they see him like doing that and stuff. Like all that was entertaining for me. Like the chase to get Kong to fight the Kraken. Like all this stuff worked for me. Like getting the necklace, running away, Kong kind of hurt himself. Like,
oh yeah, that's
like,
right.
Jumping to catch up with them,
Yeah,
and then fighting the Kraken. Really good way to set this up. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, the kid jumping off Dog served no purpose. Like, it didn't help things. It just sort of complicated matters.
Yeah.
Like, because he's just sort of still stuck on the island now, I guess.
oh yeah. Well, yeah, we should kind of circle back to the ending in a little bit. Yeah.
Like Mike, the kid, is still sick, and
Yeah, nothing's really resolved.
like that doesn't get resolved. Like the dad and Mike go after to save Charlie, and they don't really. They just kind of reunite, and then it's kind of left ambiguous.
They're really banking on a season 2.
Yeah,
really banking on a season 2 with that ending.
but like the girl kind of like throws the necklace onto the sand. I'm like, it's gonna get swept up by the water. Don't do that.
Oh yeah.
I was like, and she kind of finds it at the end, but then like it gets lost in the tidal wave. But like the fight itself, I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Kong looks to be outmatched at first, but then by the end of it, like you get like a really awesome finish.
He just like pounds its head into like the or that's one of the false finishes, right? Where he pounds the Kraken's head into the rock.
Yeah,
he's like just punching it over and over and
when
over.
he starts punching it over and over and over again, it's when you think it's done, but it's not. But like they're fighting, and like Kong for the most part is getting his ass kicked.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this is a good fair fight that I like a lot.
He's not strong in water, as we saw in GVK. You know,
but you know, credit where credit is due. He's fighting outside of his element, and he's still showing up.
Someone, and I don't remember who it was, so sorry, I can't give you credit, but also I don't think you listen to our podcast. But someone said on Twitter that was like, "Oh, this is probably how Godzilla versus Ibra would have been if it was like how it was originally supposed to be Kong in Godzilla's place." Like they were saying, like this is how I kind of picture how the fight with Ibra would have went if it was Kong instead of Godzilla, and I was like, it's a good point.
Yeah.
Except, you know, I don't think Ibra would have stood as much of a chance. This Kraken just seemed like it's got weird electrifying tendrils that then also cause infection.
Yeah,
that's a little weird. An infection passed along by electricity, and it was fucking huge. And
it was very big.
And I felt the Kraken was well established as just being like it's a total dickhead monster.
Like it's a heel.
Yeah, this is not some like force of nature, animalistic instinct type kaiju. This is just like no. This is like just like a straight up like dickhead of a kaiju.
He lives to kill.
Yeah, that like just seemed to be all it was doing, like, and just for fun.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was great to see Kong beat the shit out of him.
It was like the Indominus Rex, but the ocean.
I liked when there's that part in the fight where the Kraken drags Kong into water and they get to like the ocean floor and he finds like the shipwrecked boat that from the first episode.
Yeah.
He just takes it and stabs it in the eye with it. I was like, okay, that was fucking badass.
Yeah. And then like after he just like pounds the crap out of the Kraken against the rocks, I was like, yeah, give me what I want. This is it right here. And he sees the girl who found the necklace and she's like holding it up for him. And he's like, okay, so you get a happy ending here. But then the Kraken comes back, so he like gorilla presses it and just tears it in half.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And throws it and causes a tidal wave. I was like, you ruined your own chances of getting that necklace back. It's gonna be lost forever now.
Yeah.
And then so Dog and Annie get kind of washed away in the tidal wave. and Annie wakes up in a hospital in, I'm guessing it's New York, and Doug's whereabouts are left ambiguous.
Yep.
Everyone else is left. You don't see them. It's just Annie and her mother in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, oh, you guys are setting up a season 2. There's no way this is the end.
Right. Charlie was with the natives on the island. He had been captured by them. Mike was recovering from the sick. Yeah, Mike and Cap go out looking for Charlie. And yeah, so everyone's up in the air.
Yeah.
I think the lead writer or director said that basically what the idea for season 2 would be is that like a lot of stuff would come up from the Hollow Earth. They wouldn't actually go to the Hollow Earth, but like stuff. Season 2 would center around a lot of stuff coming up from the Hollow Earth.
Okay.
If they get to do a season 2.
I'm cool with that. Like it'd probably be hard to animate the Hollow Earth, like doing all that stuff too. So it's probably easier to just have it in one island location for backgrounds, and then just animate the characters.
Funny you say hard to animate, because that was something I kind of wanted to get into a little bit.
Okay.
I thought. Well, first, I thought it does a good job of looking like a 90s cartoon, but also somehow simultaneously looking like a 1970s Hanna-Barbera cartoon at the same time. So, putting aside the story aspects or whatever, there was parts of this that was like, I was like, all right, this looks really good. And then there would be stuff that I'd be like, this animation is like total fucking trash in certain points. Like, there's like the alligator thing, it's like clipping through like parts of the background in certain parts. Like it happens fast, but like I just happened to like see it, and I was like, okay, like it's like layered over the background in a weird way. It's like floating in space at some points, and then like the part where Kong is like chasing Dog and Charlie, and it's like Dog and Charlie are kind of like one layer, like very clearly like one layer kind of running over, like it almost looks like they like green screened a background, and like Kong's kind of like static images that are just kind of changing. He's not like fluidly animated. I was like, what is this? I was like, This looks like cheap as shit. And it was like,
I guess one of the benefits of losing my vision is that I didn't notice any of that.
It's like it doesn't happen like a ton, but like there was so many parts where I was like, okay, it was like you got like people like clipping through things in the background and like just really shoddy looking stuff at points, but like I mean, like it just really stuck out to me. That was like, that's why like I looked in like the only reason why like I like bothered to look to see like what else they had done. And I was like, is this like some like random ass like company? I was like, no, it's like I don't know. I know they missed like one kind of deadline to kind of, not they being the animation studio, but like this didn't come out like as early as they expected it to come out. And I was like, okay, it's like this kind of turned like a crunch situation, or it's like they just kind of ran out of time. They had to cut some corners because there was some real like some scenes were just really, really, I'm not usually critical of that sort of stuff, but it was like so distracting to me at some points that I was just like, holy shit. I was like, that was not, I expected a little bit more quality control on this one.
Okay.
But
I didn't notice it at all. Yeah. So
yeah, it's only the two worst offenders were the crocodile scene and the dog Charlie Kong chase scene, where it's just like, it looks like just like something I would make like in like, I don't know, Mario Paint back in the day or something, where I was like, oh shit. But sometimes when people walked, it was kind of giving me like Hanna-Barbera vibes, or I was like, which like also like kind of tugged on some like nostalgia heartstrings for me. I was like, oh, you're almost like a few steps away from being like C-Lab.
Are you saying my methods are unsound?
I don't see any methods at all, sir.
What a great
Instead of calling the captain, I'm just going to be like, oh my god, what was the character's name that was always in the chair?
Stormy?
Yeah. How he always called Murphy, he always called him Skip. They should start calling the captain Skip.
But yeah, I back to the animation thing. I actually really liked the Castlevania animated series. I thought that was really fun. So it does make sense that the same company did, because they do look similar now that I see it. I didn't.
I've only seen little bits of the Castlevania one. I've always wanted to watch it. I just never really like put the time in to watch it.
it's enjoyable. The characters are a little bit more diverse.
Yeah.
I could see how they could. I could see why they imported like the sarcastic, like kind of a dick thing, because that is sort of their MO of characters. But it just worked better in Castlevania.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Aside from the human characters, that's honestly like probably the only bad thing about the series that I really have to say. Like I thoroughly enjoyed the rest of the story. I liked all the flashback scenes with Annie and the dog, like their origin story. Like the mother's motives become a little bit more clear once they have sort of their talk, and I'm like, okay, so she's just a shitty person, but like there's a method behind the madness, so I understand the mother probably better than everyone else on the series. Like she's just a rich asshole. Like,
yeah.
So it makes sense. Like the Kraken fight was awesome. Anytime Kong was on screen, it was good. Kong has a ton of personality. Like pretty much nothing bad except for the human characters.
Yeah, I think the show works best when, and I feel like this will probably be the same going forward. If for like a human character, it centers around Annie and like her story. I think she's the most interesting human character in the show by far. And I think like her interactions and her kind of like, like she gets told like this woman's her mother, but because like she just never grew up with her, like she doesn't like. She's clearly got like some like emotional issues, but like at the same time, she's also like, well, I also like don't really need you either. And I just think kind of like I think that dynamic will, because obviously when we get season 2 is going to be her going back to the island trying to find
dog,
yeah, and just like watching her try to interact with, like I like the part where it's like she doesn't understand the difference between like an interview and a conversation. She starts calling conversations interviews. She goes, "Oh, I really liked our interview," and it's like little stuff like that where it's like she's starting to like kind of learn how to like interact with people. I like that dynamic. Yeah, I guess I thought. I thought this was Saturday morning fluff for me. It was a MonsterVerse side quest. Is what I thought it was. So. That's what I expected. That's what I got.
That's what I got eventually.
Yeah. But I will put all that aside and I will again reiterate, episode 7 is fucking fantastic. If you don't want to watch the whole series, you could probably watch episode 7 on its own. And
I say pick up where, if you start it right where Dog gets captured by the bird, like you're in for a good time. Yeah,
it's not long either. It's 8 episodes. They're all about 20 minutes long. I ended up watching it all actually in like one sitting. I was like, I'll probably break this up over 2 nights, but it's quick. It's like 3.5 hours. Ultimately, is what it kind of works out to be.
I split it up into 2, and I definitely preferred doing it that way. It helped me out enjoy the back half a lot.
Well, shall we rank it, or anything else to cover?
No, I got all my shit in.
Got all these stuff in, pal.
I got my 3 in.
So 1 star as a jobber, 5 stars main eventer, and then various degrees in between. Would you like to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first. Sure. I think you went first last time.
I always just take your word for it whenever you say that. I don't ever actually know if it's true or not.
Yeah, I try to remember. I'm going to go 3, but like it could have been higher had the first couple episodes been a little bit more fun for me. Like I didn't like Mike pretty much blowing off his dad sacrifice. Like that should have been more impactful in his character. I didn't like the first 4 episodes like meandering. And really like dragging this affair out longer than it had to be. That being said, the last couple episodes could have been like a 4 or 5 had those episodes not existed, but I think a 3 is a solid score if you rate this on the whole. Like it's really, like as Charles Dickens would say, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. And that's where I land. A 3, but a good 3. Like, yeah, I do recommend this.
I am also actually at a 3 as well. Like, even though I don't think I had the first half of the series. I don't think I'm not as negative on the first half of the series as you, but I also don't think
I don't
I'm
expect anyone to be that hard on it as I was.
But I also don't think I'm like as high on the second half of the series as you, outside of episode 7, which on its own I would give that 5 stars.
Gotcha.
And I liked episode 8 a lot too, but like 5 and 6 or whatever, it's like I'm trying to like kind of even remember like half the shit that happens in them, and like,
well, 5 is when
I can't like really remember.
5 is when Dog and Charlie are captured, and they're trying to climb down
their
the thing.
adventure back.
Yeah, and episode 6, I believe, was the Annie origin story.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's that was all good and entertaining. I guess basically I was pretty. For the first 6 episodes, I was pretty level the whole way through. I was just kind of like, it's like I've been saying. I felt like this was like Saturday morning cartoon fluff. I'll say that one last time, and it was like, I remember just kind of going like, this is like a MonsterVerse side quest. I hope we get more of it. I think I would actually like to see, if you are now going to go into the animated route, like, I would like to see a MonsterVerse animated show or something, probably an animated show. I guess that'd probably be the easiest. Like, that does focus on like original kaiju created for the MonsterVerse. Like, I want to see like the MonsterVerse like expand. They have all these like little cameos of kaiju like in King of the Monsters. Like, I wouldn't mind if you just had like a MonsterVerse show that like just kind of creates like new kaiju and just kind of like gives them some sort of character, like even if it's like an anthology show or something. Even if it's like one episode on like Behemoth, I don't even give that too much of a shit about. Like, Doug gets an episode, I'd be all for that. Like, all these other like random one-off kaiju they created. Like, I would love to see like a little bit more to them that it would just give you more storytelling options, like in different mediums. Obviously Godzilla and Kong are the heart of this whole thing, but like it'd be nice to have like a little, like Star Wars does an excellent job of that.
Okay,
and, you know what I mean? Like I would like to see like a little expanded view of the MonsterVerse.
I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah. But anyway, I got a little sidetracked. But yeah, so I'm a 3. Episode 7's a 5. But it's a good 3. It's a good watch. It is what it is.
Yeah. Let's talk about figs.
Hell yeah.
You get anything?
I did. I sure did. But actually, I'm going to loop something that's kind of a purchase, but not really a purchase into here as well.
Okay.
Because I bought fun. You know how much fun costs, KES?
Free if you're me.
Well, I was going to say 75 cents a play. Jesus, don't. Whew, you allergic to fun?
I am.
So, mutual friend of ours was up this way, visiting this past weekend, which took us to Salem, home of a bunch of witches, and
allegedly.
Yeah, and sometimes at work I find myself saying more weight. That's a very deep cut reference there. Giles Corey, Crucible. Anyway, so we're in that area. There is a barcade there, and they have the new Godzilla pinball machine that is actually like outside of the Godzilla world and the pinball world. This is highly regarded as like one of the best pinball machines to come down the old Middlesex Canal in a long time.
This is like a brand new
brand
one
new,
too. Yeah.
brand
new. What's the company's?
I don't know. I'm not like I know it's the company.
It's the company.
that
they
makes
do
them
like
all.
4 or so a year, and like they have like a KISS one. They have this one. They have I think a Rush one, and I think the new one they put out was Foo Fighters.
Oh, I didn't realize they did so many music ones. I know they just make these like, I know they're like the premier company.
Yeah, they do like 3 or 4 a year, and they do like pop culture stuff and band stuff.
Yeah,
because that's pretty much what works in pinball is like movies and bands.
Well, I'll tell you, It works in this fucking Godzilla one.
Yeah.
Now I know there's like a deluxe one and then a regular one. I don't know which one this is. I think like the deluxe one I think is something to do with like the speakers or some shit, but
Okay.
I don't know. Either way, it's like, I mean, I'm not like a pinball expert or don't really know how to explain. Like, I know like pinball is like having quite the resurgence these days.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I mean, I play pinball when I get a chance to, and I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Can't tell you about the ins and outs and the pinball renaissance that we have going on.
Yeah.
But this Godzilla one, it's like, man, I almost kind of wish like I could watch somebody else play it because like there's a video screen that's just so many clips and so many other things like playing on it, but obviously like you can't really watch it because you're kind of focusing on the balls and shit. But it's like there's just like fucking ramps everywhere. There's like a Godzilla figure which is actually like a repainted like Bandai Godzilla 54, which I thought was kind of funny. There's like a Mecha Godzilla bust in there. There's like buildings you can knock down and shit, like a bridge that you can knock down, and just constantly like Godzilla clips playing and just a whole lot of lights and sounds and stuff going on, and I had a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah.
I've heard it's like a highly regarded pinball. Do they call them cabinets? The cabinets for pinball? Okay.
Yeah.
I know they're arcade cabinets, but I don't know if they're pinball cabinets. But are they tables? The pinball tables? I don't know. Listen, I don't know what pinball Twitter's like. I don't want to come in after me.
Pinball Twitter.
For all I know, this podcast it falls in the wrong circle, and all of a sudden, pinball Twitter. all of a sudden, I'm ending up like the kid at the end of that Goosebumps episode, where he's. You know which one I'm talking about.
Was that? Are You Afraid of the Dark?
I thought it was
because I feel like it's Are You Afraid of the Dark, and he's trapped inside the pinball machine. And like,
right,
the
it's like
ball. Yeah,
the balls at the end of the escalator at the top, like the ball or something like that.
I think that's Are You Afraid of the Dark.
Okay. Well, either way, I don't want to end up like that, kid. So that was a deep cut right there.
Yeah,
we should watch that episode for a Halloween episode. But so ton of fun. If you find yourself up that way, I highly recommend giving it a whirl. The best part is that there was no like real plans to like actually go there to play it, and I just kind of did like a whole like, hey guys, while we're in the area, why don't we stop in here for a drink? Oh, look at this thing that just happens to be here. All right, well, I'll catch up to you guys in about 30 minutes. And it was a real slick move, I would say, is what I did.
That's why they call you that.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So, but my main purchase, or my only other purchase, was I'm back in that bag clip business, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
A new wave released, and I bought a bunch from FYE, which I bought, like, there's 11 of them, so I bought 11 blind bags from FYE. I ended up with getting 6, and then 5 doubles, and so then I said, well, gotta round this out, and I went on eBay, finished out the wave, put them all up with the other bag clips, and they look so stylish together, so colorful and stylish all together. I love the bag. So this one's got, the chase is Godzilla 54 eating a train, and it's the controller from Planet X. You get one of the Shobijin. You get the Batra in his lava form. You get Final Wars Gagan, which is fucking awesome. You get Kamada-kun, which is fucking awesome. He looks so goofy. I love it. And then Kumonga. And then you get 2 movie posters. One for Godzilla 85, one for Godzilla 2000. Am I missing any?
That's
there's another Godzilla he's doing the dance from Monster Zero.
Oh, okay.
Where he kind of jumps, kicks his leg. There's that. And then yeah, I'm definitely missing something, but just whatever. They're all awesome.
Well, I'm glad you got more of your thing. I was just thinking, like, when you want to set these things up, like, you should get like a bunch of little hooks that screw into stuff, and then like hang them from hooks.
Oh, have you seen how I have them displayed?
Yeah, you have them like on
a bathroom rack thing.
Yeah.
That's like a tiered shelf thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying when you fill that up, you can just get some hooks and like screw them in.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm kind of out of the allocated space I had for these things. So if a Godzilla and Kong New Empire set comes out, I'm gonna be in a real tough way when that happens.
That's what I mean. Like get some hooks, and then like where it's like leading up to the stadium thing, just have it go like diagonally so you can see them all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That'd be a good move. Yeah. I know. Like, I feel like I'm the only person on Earth who is obsessed with these things as I am, but fucking love them. Even got a bunch of Star Wars ones. I don't know. I was pretty happy to round that out. I'm still missing the blue Godzilla chase from the very first set that they ever did. I'm hoping I find someone at G-Fest that is selling that. So,
all right, well, good luck.
Yes, that is.
I've decided not to go to G-Fest.
I understand,
but it's only because I might be doing something else around that time.
Okay,
and so plans changed.
Okay, I just understand.
Blood and guts is what I'm thinking.
That's right. AEW is coming to Boston.
Yeah. So I was thinking, I might as well just save myself the time.
Sure.
All I've heard about is people complaining about how airplanes have been lately, and I'm like, I don't want to suffer. 2 flights.
Yeah. I mean, I also just booked another trip in September, which will also include a lot of long plane rides, and I am not as long as getting to Japan, but still, we're talking about like 9 hours on a plane, and not looking forward to it. Not looking forward to it. So
yeah. And if you're uncomfortable, then I'm definitely going to be uncomfortable. And to be honest with you, like I was thinking about it, I was like, I can't really be uncomfortable in seats right now.
Yeah.
So if I am, it's like 4 hours is much more manageable than whatever flying would be.
Well, Chicago's like 2.5 hours for us.
Yeah, but like, what I mean is just like, you have to do 2 flights. You're going to be at a convention for a couple days.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, in a really boring part of Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago's awesome, but where G-Fest is like, kind of like, nothing's really happening there.
Yeah.
But that's all right. Yeah, I'll make do.
But anyway, yeah. I didn't get anything, but I did try those Jason Tatum potato chips that I bribed you with last time.
Well, that counts, yeah.
And they were actually really good.
Yeah. I've always really liked those.
They were just the right amount of heat with the barbecue flavor for a chip. Like, I think some people might not like how hot they are, but for me, it was perfect. I was like, yeah, this is exactly where chips need to be in terms of heat.
Well, that's how a lot of people feel about Jason Tatum, too. They might not like the heat, but he's perfect. He's the future face of the NBA.
I mean, gotta win a championship first.
He does have to win a championship. I think
Kristaps Porzingis gets him a little closer.
We'll see. He is. This is turned into your quick Boston Celtics podcast. I also saw it today. He is playing in the FIBA World Cup, and that is how Gallinari got injured last season. So I am having terrible flashbacks to last summer. But listen, Jason Tatum, 25 years old, putting up crazy numbers. He's only going to get better.
Gonna stop turning that ball over.
I think that's more the other Jays' problem on that team more than anything.
This one has a problem with it too.
Yeah, I'm less bothered by that with him. Right. I think that will work itself out. Jaylen Brown, on the other hand, I sit there and go, what the fuck are you like? I should say, I'm not saying it's not a problem for Tatum, but I'm saying like I think it's going to be like a problem that's going to naturally work itself out. Whereas with Jaylen Brown, I go, what the fuck are you doing, man? But hey, Jaylen Brown's here to stay. So
okay. Yeah, I didn't get anything. Do you want me to do a penance purchase?
No, that's all right.
Okay.
You ate the chips.
I'm just gonna keep on bribing you with the Jason Tatum chips.
Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe next time. Next episode, we got another one coming up after this one.
Sure do.
What are we thinking? Poll?
I think a poll.
Yeah.
Put some good things in a poll.
We've had some good new content lately, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind going back in time for a flashback episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else you want to get in? Anything else you want to say?
I had something and I lost it. I don't know. Jason Tatum's the future.
AW Fight Forever is good.